Hey YouTube world, it's your girl the Venusian Bull, and I'm back for another video in the Planets in the Houses series. And in this video we are going to be discussing Neptune in the 5th house. Alright, so just as a recap, the 5th house has to deal with dating, gambling, creativity, children, casual sex, expressing oneself, inspiration, sports, entertainment, entertainer, celebrity, admiration, compliments, and the eternal child, okay? So when we're talking about Neptune in the 5th house, this is a really lovely placement to enhance that creative aspect because Neptune energy is creative in and of itself. And the 5th house is about creativity. The only thing about Neptune being in the 5th house is that creativity could be a little bit more suppressed. It's not as outwardly, shown because Neptune energy can be a little bit more of like an introvert. But rest assured, you're extremely talented and creative, especially when it comes to artistic pursuits. And it goes beyond what I mentioned about Venus and just particularly like musically artistic, because Neptune rules Pisces, and Neptune is all about all facets of the arts. So performing arts, visual arts, any type of art. So this could be from doing makeup to sculpting to singing to dancing to acting to writing to anything that expresses your creativity. Also, on a higher volume than Venus, Neptune is about the physical, so they do like to be beautiful. So makeup guru is a very big thing. So you definitely want to compliment them on their ability to, it's like their ability to make people look like the ideal person. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely someone that is about idealistic beauty, and trying to attain that. So, some like they may look a little plastic. They beautiful nonetheless, but they may look a little plastic or getting a lot of work done and surgery and things of that nature because they want to project this idealistic kind of view of beauty, and they want to be complimented on that because they believe in this idealism. Um, but understand that this person can definitely be famous, definitely a celebrity. Just like they kind of give off a more introverted kind of vibe. They're not as look at me as some of the other placements in the 5th house, but they definitely want to be recognized. But it may take them a while for them to see their true potential and their true talent. This is why people have to tell them that they're great, or else they'll never attempt to do anything, because that Neptune energy can make you very lackadaisical and just very just chill, I know I'm great and I could paint this portrait and I can do it really well, but I just don't feel like it. Like, they need motivation, you know what I'm saying? And the fact of Neptune being in the 5th house, that's not enough motivation. Like, they need somebody helping them and pushing them to succeed. In terms of children, this is a really good placement to deal with children, especially when you're talking about dealing with children who have these artistic abilities and things like that. Even like children who are autistic, because a lot of times autistic children are very, very smart and they're very creative and they have very different and creative ways of doing things because of the way that they communicate. And a Neptune in the 5th house would be intuitively in tuned to that child and emotionally connecting with them on a higher level even than Moon in the 5th house. It's all about this kind of intuitive thing. And remember, Neptune is very psychic, it's very mystical, so they can really especially in terms of these children, they can really connect with them and maybe even have visions, and be able to tell the future. So, cliche, but it's just they have this innate ability to be able to see into someone's soul. You know what I'm saying? But in the purest of ways. You know, it's like fifth house is like the eternal child, and Neptune in the fifth house is like this pure eternal child. Like they, even the troubled children, like they will see where the purity is there and all of the goodness. Like they're always going to look at the good part of someone. And you know, if you have this placement, like your parents growing up, or just the people around you, they could have a very mystical kind of esoteric vibe. You know, this is the mystical kind of planet. So in terms of creativity, you could have just known somebody in your life that was a tarot card reader, or that was an astrologer, or that was a healer. Like that's a part of their way to, you know, be able to express themselves and things like that. So that's definitely a big thing with Neptune in the fifth. You know, they got their candles, they're doing their offerings, worshiping the ancestors. You know, they're all about that life, and that's something that you kind of absorbed, you know, growing up. And obviously, if you're an adult, you may already be doing those things. In terms of dating, of course, they're very idealistic. They want, like, you know, Prince Charming, horse-drawn carriage, and just all of the works of the romance, like extra, you know, read all about it, you know. Um, in terms, they're not really about like the gambling life, but everybody in the fifth house likes games. Everybody in the fifth house likes to play games and compete. It's just not as like, you know, they're going to be a little bit of a better, you know, loser than some other people are, and things like that. So this is just somebody who's just emotionally and intuitively in tune with expressing themselves, like their creative pursuits. And when they're around people, people can sense their like creative energy, and they want to be around them because they're kind of a mystery. Like it's kind of like, I can't really put my finger on it, but it's just something about them that it's like, do they know me? Like, do they see me? You know what I'm saying? And it could just be on, sometimes it could just be on the most mundane surface level. Because remember, the fifth house isn't a really deep house, but Neptune energy there, this is where your kind of intuition can kind of take heed and really shine in certain areas, particularly when it comes to inspiring people and children, and you know, just expressing yourself and your creativity. So definitely Neptune in the fifth house. Use all of your creative pursuits, like everything that you're talented in and that you have a gift. And a lot of times Neptune will indicate where you have gifts, like gifts that are innate, like that you don't have to learn, like you're just given them, you know what I'm saying? So use those gifts. This is like the best placement in the best house to be able to have the opportunity to use those gifts, because it can really you know, help people in the long run, especially if you have the gift of sight and like clairvoyance and things like that. Definitely don't be afraid to bring that out, because you can not only heal a lot of people, but you can also, you know, become, you know, very famous and very, you know, recognized for that type of thing. Maybe you'll even write like a movie about somebody who was a healer or something like that. And use different practices like tarot and, you know, voodoo and things of that nature. Because, you know, Neptune energy, they love idealism, so they're not really about the realistic, you know, they're about more of like the spiritual realm, you know. So being imaginative and making up things and not actually having things centered in reality is very good for being a creative and writing, you know, fiction novels and, you know, screenplays and even plays, and just, you know, things that kind of get your imagination going, you know. So in a nutshell, that's Neptune in the fifth house. And make sure to let me know what you think below in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.